What's up, everybody? It's Jeffrey Lyles. You're listening to Lyles Movie Files. We are here tonight breaking down the biggest weekend in geek fandom history. Avengers Endgame just did its thing, and Game of Thrones had the long night featuring the long anticipated battle between all of our heroes and the White Walkers. So, joining me tonight is the one and only Chief. What's up with you, man?
Uh, Good evening, Jeff. Good evening, Jace. Shout out to the fans out there listening. We do appreciate your patronage. That's all I got, man. It's a wonderful Monday, and hope everybody's having a great day too.
Indeed, good sir. Little brother Jace, how are you?
I'm doing well. Like I said, I had my double dose of Avengers last week and had Game of Thrones last night, so I'm still on a little bit of a come down, but hey, I'm ready to start some podcasting.
Yeah, the funny thing is, we are in April, and there's not a lot of adrenaline hits that I see for the rest of 2019. I know we got John Wick 3, and that is probably the next one. And then Spider-Man Far From Home. I know a lot of people, maybe some people, are very excited about Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. Those people are not me. So after July, I may be done with 2019 and not even knowing what to look forward to. Actually, I take that back. We do have the Disney Plus shows, which have a whole new realm of importance after we saw Endgame. So without further ado, let's break down Avengers Endgame. So, fellas, I cannot begin to tell you how excited, how amped up, how ready I was to see Avengers Endgame. I probably watched the trailers about 40 times, like all the different ones, like trying to look for clues, like, okay, what's going to happen here? And what are they going to do at this point? And, oh, yeah, okay, Ant-Man isn't going to be on this mission that they do in the first part of the movie because Black Widow still has her blonde bob, and clearly that's not taking place at that point. And then these jokers just flipped me all around because they started changing things up once again in the trailer, like going so far as to change Black Widow's hair and changing what Captain America is wearing in the trailers, and then adding stuff we don't even see in the movie. But good grief, for all of my excitement, enthusiasm, and everything, I wasn't ready for this movie. I was watching and like, gosh, this is everything that I wanted from Avengers Endgame. It wrapped up and connected to everything we've seen in the previous 21 Marvel Studio films. It was so good, it actually had me thinking back a lot more favorably on films that I was kind of nonchalant about, like Iron Man 3. Um, and then Thor the Dark World had a greater sense of purpose because of events we saw in Endgame. And we're going to go totally spoiler heavy on this episode. We don't need to hide any more secrets. If you haven't seen the movie yet, this is your final warning. Watch the film, then play this episode. So, fellas, with that said, let's go right away into Endgame. What did you think, Chief?
Man, it's an emotional roller coaster, man. That was one thing about the movie. It was one of those movies, man. Like you could feel how lost everybody was. That they couldn't solve it. Then your some of your favorite characters getting dropped off into the abyss like that. I thought it was a kind of a neat wrap up to Captain America's saga. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You get to see how it plays out for him. The Starks joint was hard. You know what I mean? And he had a daughter, so that was kind of like the battle was good, and that was like one of the things I could say for the movie. I enjoyed the last battle. A lot of times they don't give you a good battle scene. I mean, and I'm not saying Avengers, period, because Avengers usually produces. But you watch a little. I think that was my problem with Glass, the last one. I didn't think it was enough of a battle scene. And this one, it came through on all fronts. I mean, you got the drama, you got your action, you know, you even got to see like how things are gonna tie in for this Loki series.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because you know, we were talking on a podcast or two ago about how they were going to bring back Loki, and so we found that out. You know, and I'm assuming another Strange movie's coming out. So we got some things to work with here. There was some good shows. I was surprised that they let it go to 5 years. I was thinking that they were going to find a way to come back and get them before the snap, you know, and restore everybody. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because you know, Vision stayed dead. You know, it was weird seeing the Hulk as as he was. And then you know, the 5 years, of course, so there was no romance left between him and Black Widow, which was funny. Then you know, it was just you know, it was just epic, man. And the 3 hours for me went by quickly.
Right.
Like I didn't get that, you know what I mean? I made sure I didn't drink before I went to the theater. But at the same time, when it ended, I wasn't like, yeah, it's time for this movie to end. It was like, oh, okay. So what can you say, man? Just another masterpiece. I don't know where they go from here, though. In a sense, I mean, I know they're going Spider-Man. You know, I mean, you got Big Belly Thor out there. So I don't know where they go in a sense from here. It's gonna be, yeah, the Marvel series is gonna be interesting, man. I'm sorry Iron Man had to go. I know a lot of people saying, you know, he's gotten too old to play the part, so on and so forth. But you know, I mean, shoot, you look at him. I mean, with a little bit of makeup and some dye in his hair, you know, you could have seen Tony Stark playing another 2 or 3. I mean, 'cause, you know, they spit one out every other year, 2 or 3 years or something. But like I said, man, it was good, man. You know, the effects were good. I mean, how can you complain? I mean, it was a damn good movie. If you haven't seen it and you're listening to this because you don't care about the spoilers, you need to go out there and see it. It's I even like the way they worked Gamora back in, but it was funny because my man, I guess the next movie is him searching for her, and then he's got to try to make her fall in love with him all over again because she is not feeling him at all. So this will be interesting. I guess Groot will be a damn near man by then. I mean, is Thor now part of the Guardians of the Galaxy crew?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So is that how they integrated it? I mean, and I'm thinking to myself, well, their battle should be damn easy now. You know what I mean? If you figure if they had Thor for half the shit they went through, it'd have been sweet.
No, he would have been fighting Ego pretty much the same as them, and Ronan. He would have given them trouble
but it would have been easier though. I mean,
it would have been easier.
Thor is essentially stronger than what's my man, David Bautista. I can't think of his name, but He's stronger than him. Yeah, he's stronger than Drax the Destroyer. He's stronger than Drax. I mean,
he could have helped with the Nova Corps. I mean, not
right,
the Nova Corps.
getting out of jail. That wouldn't have happened. And plus, he's got both his he's got his hammer and his axe now, doesn't he?
Nah. Cap had the hammer.
I thought Cap gave it back. I don't remember him taking it back in time with him. He did?
He did take it in time, but we didn't see what he did with it when he came back.
Yeah, so, well, I guess Thor could always call for it, though.
That's true.
Might take some time to get to it.
It takes some time.
Yeah, it takes some time, but I mean, hell. But that's what I'm saying. So now he's part of their crew. I guess he'll be in the third movie with them. So yeah, it's interesting take on where Marvel's going now. Because essentially they've broken up the Avengers as we know them, and I guess I don't foresee another Avengers movie, huh?
Nah. So what I've kind of read, they've been very secretive with their post Endgame plan or anything about Endgame. All that we basically know is there's a sequel to Black Panther, Doctor Strange, and Captain Marvel. Spider-Man is going to be dealing with a lot of the fallout from what happened in those 5 years where people lost people. And, the thing with Spider-Man is going to be really interesting because freshmen that Peter may have gone to school with are now seniors or they've graduated. They're in college now. And, some of his buddies maybe could be people that aren't even in his realm and circle anymore. So I think
Mm-hmm.
that's tackle. But man, to me, what really stood out with this was I watched a bunch of movies after the first time I watched it, Endgame, and I watched Avengers, I watched Captain America: Winter Soldier, Civil War, Guardians of the Galaxy, and it was just incredible to me how well constructed these movies are, and how like every little thing mattered. Like that whole thing with Cap sort of being able to bulge or budge Mjolnir, and Thor looking like, hey, you're not supposed to move my hammer, but kind of thinking, okay, maybe he could, and then realizing why he wasn't able to at that particular time, and beef with Tony being mad at Steve from the Civil War fallout. There's just so much stuff that it was like, wow, you can really tell the effort they put into it. And I'm not going to go into this long rabbit hole of why DC movies have failed in comparison. But gosh, when you just think of how much time and effort, like having this huge whiteboard connecting the dots from one movie to the next, no other studio has ever done that kind of thing with their property to span across so many films and do it so well. I always considered Infinity War as the version of the Marvel Studio or Marvel Cinematic Universe, and Endgame was like Return of the Jedi being the most awesome movie ever. I like Return of the Jedi, but it kind of feels like a letdown to some degree after everything that was amazing in Empire Strikes Back. And Endgame not only took the ball, ran with it, hit a home run, scored a hat trick, and knocked out a grand slam. It totally delivered on everything else that had been built up over the course of these movies. Jace, what's your take on
I, I hate. I know we kind of laugh, and sometimes when we get our intros in, we're just like, all right, I've been dying to talk for like 5 minutes. But when it comes to this movie, you almost want to interrupt people because you're just like, oh, do you remember that scene? That was so freaking good. Like when they rally the troops. Captain Marvel comes in there after seeing like 3 different trailers of her coming in there with the hammer, then Stormbreaker. You're like, wait, you guys are throwing us off, or they're gonna go back in time, and then somehow they're gonna do it a couple times and never beat Thanos. You're like, your head's like, oh, there's so many possibilities. But then when you see them get there, and then Thor just kills Thanos, like, yeah, this time I went for the head. Like, I'm dealing with that. Like, it's like if we're not gonna win this game, I'm gonna at least kill him. So I mean, there was just so many great things about this movie. I know Jeff, you talked about a lot of them. For your Easter eggs for LylesMovieFile.com. Check out the site. It's a good stuff and anything you've seen in the movie, but you don't know where it connects. That's a really good refresher for you. But I'm just gonna be like Tony's, because you called it back, like when Tony said in Civil War, he's like, hey, I made a virtual reality program to say if I had one more scene with my dad, what I would say to him. And then he actually gets that chance in Endgame. It's almost like if you actually see that, if you had just saw like Civil War not too long after, and then saw Endgame, that might be one of those, because both times I was in the movie, like you could hear people like visit me like audibly tearing. I mean, like sniffling and tearing up. But I think if you saw that not too long, that might have a lot more like, oh man, there's some dust in this place. But I mean, it was just like, I mean, I'm just like the battle scene. I mean, I think not to ramble any further, it's like that battle scene at the end when Cap actually says, when they all come back and Cap finally says, Avengers Assemble, most people who have been following these movies let out I mean, just like had a fist bump in your seat. You're just like, yeah, this is great. I mean, and then the battle scene pays off because there's not a time where you don't understand what's going on in the action. There's no Transformers like time where you don't know exactly who's fighting who, and you know everybody who's there, what they're doing, what their powers are, and everybody has their moment. And like even if they even like kind of tease the all female cast movie where they actually have them rallying to take to the Infinity Gauntlet one step further to the time machine. It was just like there was just I mean again, there's a reason I saw this movie twice in a week, and there's not really a thought I'm not gonna go see this movie a third time.
Yeah.
For those 3 hours, it was easy to watch that thing.
You know, it's funny for me that final battle, and I was really geeked out when the trailer. And this was not a fake out. They showed Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor walking forward to Thanos. And if you read the comics, they've always made a big deal of making those guys the Avengers' big three. And we hadn't really gotten a moment like that with those guys in the film universe. So to see them get that spotlight to fight Thanos, just the three of them, was really cool. And it felt like such a fan service Easter egg, like, hey, check it out. The big three are fighting the big guy here. And, like everything in that fight was just fun. And then when Cap got Mjolnir and he's beaten down, he puts his shattered shield, he ties it up, and he's getting ready to somehow fight this entire army one on one. It's like that is the core essence of Captain America right there. There's no odds too great, and he will fight the fight all day. And it was just like, yeah, Cap. I don't know what's gonna happen here, but I'm with you. And I don't, I didn't see that scene coming out exactly the way it did. But oh my gosh, it was perfect. Where Sam is the one that goes, Cap, can you read me? Cap, can you hear me? And he goes, on your left. And it was so perfect because it tied in that kind of running thing from Winter Soldier, and they had Black Panther come out first. I mean, it was like in my theaters that I watched it in. Both times the audience got really pumped up when you see the silhouette of Black Panther, Okoye, and Shuri, and it's like, uh oh, it's about to be on. And then the next time we see Doctor Strange and Guardians and Spider Man come through. I've
And it was
never been to a movie where it was like, oh shoot, you guys are actually going to deliver exactly what we as comic book fans could only imagine when we read these big epic crossovers. Like we see the action playing out on the pages, but to watch it on the big screen was amazing. And it's funny, the second time I watched it, I felt like I was watching like a far superior version, but like a G.I. Joe the movie when they're all fighting Cobra Law at the end, where it was just like everybody's going for it. All the Joes are just knocking out all the Cobras and the random Cobra Law dudes, and they have like the little cool fan service like Flint and Lady J punching dudes into each other and then give each other a nod. Snake Eyes and Quick Kicker kicking people, and I just felt like, man, this is crazy. They're doing all kinds of cool stuff. And like little stuff like Wasp and Ant Man looking at each other, giving a nod, and then Ant Man becoming Giant Man and knocking out the Shatari ship out of the air. I mean, it was just like, oh my gosh, everything that I wanted out of this thing, they delivered. Black Panther getting a spotlight moment, and I know I read some people kind of complaining and being upset about Captain Marvel and all the women coming together. And the only thing I didn't like about that scene was a Black Widow wasn't part of it because that seemed like that would have been like a big moment for her, who had always been like the one female member of the Avengers until Scarlet Witch came around and actually leading the charge and helping to turn that to turn the tide against Thanos. But I just thought it was funny that dudes were complaining about it because I'm like,
The whole movie before that is a whole bunch of
complained
dudes.
about it when it was dudes. I mean, it's just, and I think that it's a testament to the women they developed in these series that they could have that moment where it's like, yeah, go do your thing. I didn't
I mean,
feel like it was like here's a bone, ladies, get excited, get pumped up. I just thought it was strong characters who have been, integral parts of this whole saga having one moment to just be together and fighting forward. And also, the dudes have been tired because they've been fighting, in most cases longer than some of the other people.
okay. And also, the females were actually, when it came to powers, the females actually had, like, you had Captain Marvel, you had Wanda, who took Thanos down, like, yeah, I'll take you down by myself. I don't need anybody else. You don't have the Infinity Gauntlet. I can beat you. Like, and Okoye is like, they were the ones doing some major. I mean, they were the ones kicking ass. It wasn't like the dudes were. I mean, they were sitting on the side waiting for anybody to do stuff. They were like, no, we'll take this fight to this dude.
Yeah, I thought it did a really good job of not making it like the dudes are weak and lame and stupid and they need the women to come save the day. I just felt like they were the other part of the team doing, and it was just their time to kind of keep things rolling. I didn't feel
Yeah.
like it was, I don't know, I read
It
those
wasn't
complaints like,
patronizing
really?
to me.
Yeah, I didn't feel like it was patronizing at all. And yeah, but to me, like that whole fight was great, and I loved how they incorporated Captain Marvel, where she wasn't super spam. Okay, this fight's over. There's no need to have a fight now because Captain Marvel could just blast everybody and it's done. Like she was still not able to do it single handedly, and I thought they did a really good job of putting her in that fight against Thanos, and it's still coming down to the other Avengers having to be in the mix in that. And I
Also
I
love
love
that.
having,
that headbutt
yeah.
scene when he
Oh
headbutted her,
yeah, yeah,
and he
man.
was like, she was like, no,
Like,
that's
I'm
not gonna
actually
do
strong enough to handle this thing.
it.
I don't think that's gonna work.
But I think it was like cool because it's like she looked like, I know how you talk about how Wolverine tends to be in the comic book. He's not there for the whole fight, but then that last little push, he's there to help out, get him across the finish line. Like that's what Captain Marvel was in that fight. She's like, hey, oh, sorry, I actually was doing something else, but now the call's been made. I'm flying from other side of the galaxy to make sure we win this fight. I mean, so
Yeah.
that
And
was
I
good
just
use
liked
of
that
her.
little moment with her. Well, hello, Peter Parker. Like it was just, I don't know. I like that part where you figure those are going to be two of the pivotal characters in the next round, next phase of Avenger films, and just that little cool interaction I really like. And there are dudes online who just hate on Brie Larson for some reason. Like I don't know why she's gotten so much scorn outside of her asking for more representation in press and not just white dudes. And
Because she's
hoping,
got the feature film.
yeah,
I mean,
I
that's
don't know.
that's like, I mean, it's like if it had been Black Widow, it would have been her. But I mean, she's just a rip off of James Bond. I mean, that's what it would have been. But because Captain Marvel was the one, and they actually made money. It was just like, well, she's not. She doesn't. I mean, you can't even say, oh, she doesn't look like the character. I'm like, nah, she does. She has the
Yeah,
outfit. I mean, hell, she rocked. What was it? Two out of the like. I mean, hell, Captain Marvel's gone through like 5 outfits, so you got at least 2 or 3 of them in the movie. I mean, so it's not like you can't say she doesn't. I mean, she's not channeling the character, so it's just
yeah,
like
dude.
you just want to hate on her.
I really like her in the role. I'm looking forward to seeing the next chapter of Captain Marvel and seeing how they incorporate her into this whole universe. It's gonna be a lot of fun. But let's talk about the ending now. So Doctor Strange is like, dude, I can't tell you what is that one game-winning scenario. And somebody was like, because Tony Stark is always trying to find an extra way, an extra level, and he would have tried to figure out some way to do it without getting killed. And that actually made a lot of sense. And him not telling him, he made Tony have to make the sacrifice play. And it goes all the way back to the first Avengers where Cap goes, you're not the dude that's going to make the sacrifice play. And Tony had everything to lose because he had his happy ending. He had his wife. He had his kid. He was fine. He didn't need anything else. He even got closure with his dad. He was good. But the one thing that's just kind of sticking with him is that I did not save Peter. And I wrote this in this thing that Jason was talking about, but I always think that the underlying theme of Tony is he has severe survivor's guilt, where he's gotten away from things that he knows maybe I should not have. I've survived in situations where other people died around me. And I think the whole decimation really messed him up further than that whole battle in New York where he was having those night terrors and hallucinations and all that stuff. Losing Peter was like his breaking point, but he had Morgan, he had Pepper. He's okay. But just having the opportunity to fix it and make things right and get Peter back was way too much for him to resist. And he was able to do that. He got his hug with Peter, and that was something that maybe he wished his dad did more with him. And he got to do that to say goodbye to Peter in case anything else went bad, that Peter would have that moment. And then they were able to say goodbye. And for them to wrap it with I am Iron Man, it was so perfect because two of the three Iron Man films, that's the last line in the movie, or basically his last line. I am Iron Man. And at that point, it didn't feel like, it's just this good. It felt like this is a perfect full circle to Tony Stark's journey, which we started back in 2008. Jay King, what's up, man? You're in here now. You're live and rocking with us. We've been talking Avengers Endgame. What you think about it, man?
Man, hey, what's going on, fellas? First, let me say hello to y'all. Wow, man, it's an epic. It's a blockbuster. It's 3 hours. Of course, I'm not gonna spend too much time on the fact that this is a long movie, but the thing about it was three things I enjoyed out the gate is it was even though it was 3 hours, it was never a point where that you felt like, okay, the second act or the first act was better than the second act, or this is taking too long, or it's too much dialogue, or there's too much mindless action. Because I remember I was sitting with it and I was having a thought at like I want to say when they were formulating the time travel plan, right? It was around that mark. I was like, dude, if this was a Michael Bay movie, they would have blown up half of the United States by now, just trying to keep you entertained. And I was like, dude, I could sit here and watch. And the sad part was, after everything, after the fight, after I don't want to give anything away.
We're going full spoilers, man.
No, full spoilers.
We're
Okay.
talking all out.
After the Stones and Steve went back in time and all that, I thought, damn, I know this is coming up on the end, but I could be here for another hour and I wouldn't even bat an eyelash.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed the movie, and people are going to say the convoluted. Like I've read all kind of stuff about the convoluted time travel, and it didn't make sense, and all the things that people are bitching about with the movie. It's like, dude, look, this movie was why you go to the movies, in my opinion. This is one of those films. This is why you go to the movies. This is why the summer blockbuster season is the time to spend $20 on a ticket and take a ride, man. It was just fun. And to see where it's going, that was another thing too. Although you're sad about the fact that this is the end of Iron Man's journey, this is the end of Captain America's journey as we know them. Their stories will continue. It'll be 10 years, 15 years maybe, or less time than that down the road. But the Marvel Universe as it stands is in good hands, man. We got a lot more stories to look forward to. And I think now we've told these kind of offset stories from the Marvel Universe. Now we got to get ready for the X-Men, dude, because it's coming back.
Dude,
this is the next.
That's such a good point. Because I'm like, man, this Avengers chapter of the Marvel Cinematic Universe was so good. Like my favorite experience of any movie franchise, movie going experience ever. And it's like, shoot, they still got the Fantastic Four to do this good. They still got the X-Men to do this good. I mean, gosh, can you imagine them doing something like this? I mean, Marvel Studios and Kevin Feige could actually do the Dark Phoenix saga justice. And like they could do geez, the whole Outback era of the X-Men. They could
A
do so
Punisher
much with
movie,
them.
a standalone, legit R-rated Punisher that's not corny, that's not overdone, that's not too dark, that has all the elements. And it ain't even got to be R-rated. It could be PG-13. I'll say that. It could be PG-13. They could do a real Punisher movie.
There's so
And
much. I mean,
there's
it's
so
crazy.
many ways to
This is just the
go.
Avengers pocket of the universe.
So like I was having that discussion with the guy sitting next to me, man. He took his kids too, and we were just vibing, two old dudes talking about and after the movie, he was like, damn, I'm kind of sad, but at the same time, it's like we both said at the same time, where do we go from here? I said, do this. Think about it. We grew up on these comics. If you got past the Avengers, now it's time to pick up X-Men. It was time to pick up Sabretooth. It was time to pick up anywhere. The possibilities are endless, man. There's just so much in this universe to gravitate, and it's not like, let's say, a Star Wars property where you got to base everything loosely on, or not loosely, but you got to base everything around the Skywalker saga, right?
Even when you
Because
kill them all off.
exactly, because it just can't stand alone. This is, it seems like the films. This is, and I want to just segue towards that, but the difference between this franchise and others is that you don't have an essential story or group of characters that mean so much to the universe that you can't move on beyond them or without them having any kind of role, or the elements of those original stories playing any kind of role. You can go anywhere you want because the Marvel universe is so broad, man. There's characters
And
we didn't even
Javon,
thought. Yeah.
they can organically pass the torch. There was so
Yep.
much of that going throughout just this entire deal.
Dude, the
But,
shield pass, the
oh
shield.
gosh,
Come on, man. Let's go. Let's
dude,
go.
that
Let's
was.
see it.
I mean, it was like one of those things where it's like, well, what are they gonna do? Is it gonna hand it to Bucky? But I mean, I just loved how Bucky sat back and was like, nah, dude, I've been this murderer. Nobody's gonna be down for me being Captain America. This is all you. You've been down with Cap since the moment he walked into your life. You have done. You've been by his side. You rolled hard with him. You've done all this stuff. You went on the run for 2 years. You've been trying to find me. Before then, you've been tracking leads, trying to track me down. You split off with the Avengers from him. Yeah, dude. You
It's
do
your
your thing.
it's your time, and that's
Yeah.
what I loved about it. They set all of this up. The wheels are in motion with great storytelling for years and years to come. We're gonna be in our 50s, possibly 60s, waiting on the next Marvel movie. Think about that. That's dope. That
Hey,
is
you
dope.
you lost your audio a little bit. You came fading out.
Okay, how about I said, think
You're
about this.
still far away.
How about now? How about now?
Try it
Hello?
now.
Okay. I said, think
You
about
still
this.
sound like you're talking through a sweater.
How about now?
Hello?
Jeff?
There we go.
Okay. I don't know what was going on with my mic.
It
I
sounded
was
like you
saying,
had a big turtleneck going.
yeah, I don't know what the hell. Think about this, man. This universe is so expansive. We could be. That's the thing. These stories are gonna go on, and you're really not gonna get sick of seeing the Marvel brand. And I thought I was at a time, but it's like, dude, what are you thinking? Go back and watch these movies. Like seriously, these are some of the best movies that have come out. And my fatigue was, oh, another comic book movie. But then when you watch them without that bias, you're like, well, damn, this is actually better than anything that I've seen in the action genre all year long.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I think that's what it is. They've managed to make their movies so different. Like we've got the action movies kind of with the Captain America saga. We've got more magical fantasy with Doctor Strange. We've got sci-fi with the Guardians of the Galaxy, Thor. And we've got like super tech, futuristic deal like an Iron Man. And then we've
Mm-hmm.
got the Avengers, which are just the ultimate
It's
like
it's
franchise
the
movie.
marriage of all of them. And I
Yeah.
was saying this with the Punisher series, and I'm pretty sure there's some other ones we could do like Cable or something like that, where this is just tech guns and that John Wick kind of straight out action, not heavily reliant on sci-fi, not sci-fi, but special effects or CGI. there's so many ways that they can go, man. The story is hardly over. This is just the beginning as far as I'm concerned. And one of the things I was trying to say was, dude, we're going to be in our 50s and 60s waiting on the next Marvel movies, dude. Think about that.
You know, the
crazy?
other,
Okay.
I'll say the other smart thing about this is for the next bunch of movies, they've actually gotten younger. So it wasn't like you had, I mean, even though you had Iron Man, Cap, and all them, you're like, man, they're starting to get up there. But it's like the next round is Brie Larson, Peter Parker, like, and it's like, I mean, not that Doctor Strange is young, but it's like Doctor Strange doesn't need to be completely young to do his job. Guardians are, I mean, chronologically they're kind of old, but they're new to us. So it's like you got more stories, and like Javon said, like and then that's just phase. What is this 4? And then I mean they bought like the next stage. I mean phase 5 and 6. So we are really going. I mean if we're fortunate enough to get there, we will be sitting there watching Marvel movies in our 50s.
Absolutely. Chief, what was the biggest surprise for you with this thing?
The biggest surprise of the movie?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't look at any spoilers, so I guess Iron Man dying was a surprise. I mean, I think the deaths of all, like who died. I knew there was some people were gonna die. It just wasn't the people I expected in a sense. Like the Black Widow. I up until she was falling, I was like, nah. I didn't expect her to die. I'm gonna say the biggest thing about this movie, and I think you hit on it earlier, is just how it ties in to everything before it and everything to come. It just, I was just totally surprised that the way they did the blend. I was like, okay, so this is gonna lead to this. This is gonna lead to that. And I was surprised really how fast the time flew in a sense with the movie. Like I just knew that I'd be in a position like, man, I can't wait to get out of here. But at the end of the movie, I was like, man, this journey was fabulous. Even the little different things about it, like when Captain Marvel cut her hair. And you know what I mean? Like, okay, so you're just trying to the certain things they did to make the 5 years go by. So this thing was it was definitely on point. I don't like I said, all the little things that happen, man. I just in the movie itself, like I said, I stayed away from social media. So when I went in clean. Like I had no idea what was going to happen to anybody. And I knew, we all know somebody's gonna get it, because we knew Cap. Like I said, I thought Cap was, if anybody, Cap was, because he was the one mainly saying he wasn't coming back.
Right.
So when they didn't kill him and he just grew old, he went back to old girl. I was just like, okay. And it's funny because I think when he left, that was his intent all along. He told everybody, yeah, I'll be back. He had no interest in coming back, which made it funny in a sense, like just how it goes. It was just crazy, man. The timeline is crazy. Like, and they explained how everything that happened would kind of still happen in those timelines, even though you changed, like you popped out of the timeline and went back to the you went back to the past, but your future self. So while he himself was fighting in New York, his, you know what I mean, like his other self was just chilling. Like it's hard to explain.
Mm-hmm.
So so it was like I said, this is like no big surprises. I didn't expect them to cut off Thanos' head at that point.
That was so crazy.
That was nuts.
Whoa.
So
like, okay,
right,
and that happened.
Yeah. He was like, I've never known my father to lie. Thor was like, okay, shoot, shoot. I was like, ooh. Alrighty then.
Yeah, dude. Crazy.
Yeah. My man was living a peaceful existence, wasn't he? He was picking fruit.
Got his muscle shirt on, chilling.
Right. Picking fruit, chilling. I mean, my man didn't have a care in the world, man. He was just like, there's plenty of food now. I'm like, all right. So, and then it's funny because the way he sat when Thor decapitated him, I think that nonchalant attitude led to his demise at the end of the movie. Because when he first got there, he sent old girl to go retrieve the Infinity Stones, which was a mistake to me. I think that if he had gone himself to retrieve them, instead of saying, well, I'm going to go sit here, you go get them. You remember that? So he sat there. He didn't go get them himself. I think if he had went himself to go get them, I think that would have been a different story. But he was so nonchalant in his mind, this outcome couldn't be anything else to him. And I think that's what got him. But also, like, another surprise was, like you said, when Cap was standing up there about to fight everybody and the portal started opening up and the squad arrived. You know what I mean? That was, I mean, it was just a thing of beauty. You was just like, oh, they're here. And I would watch that movie just for that part.
For that part alone.
Right, for that part alone, when everybody starts, whenever, you know, your boys is there. I've been in that situation where, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've been in that situation where I've been in a group of people who were wanting to hurt me, and I've been by myself still talking to them like, yeah, well, you know, we gotta do what we gotta do then. And in my mind knowing I'm about to get busted up. And then you hear that familiar, hey man, you all right? And then you look over and it's your man's in the cut and you like, I've been there. I've been there, man. So yeah, so that thing there, man, he was just like, and you know, Cap goes hard, man. He is who he is. Like the elevator scene.
Oh, dude.
Oh my gosh.
So great.
Hell Hydra.
Dude, I was tripping that they got freaking Robert Redford to come in for a cameo.
Yeah, man. They got him in there, man. He was like, nah, everything is all right. Hell Hydra. And he was like, oh, well, take the bag, man. Because they kind of reminded you of, you know, the last time they was in the elevator with all them dudes like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that scene was epic. That was a great scene. So are we gonna do this now or? So he was in the elevator. Everybody was like, and he was like, hell Hydra. So that's what's up. So that's what I'm saying. So many things tied in. They knew so much this time going around. And it's funny that, like, just the funny scenes in it. Like, they made Hope take the stairs.
Yeah.
He tried to get on the elevator. And they was like, whoa, champ. This one's full up. Take the stairs. Hope hates stairs.
Hey, did you guys notice how Thor put the thing on Loki's mouth? Like, it had never been explained how he did that, but they actually had a scene where he does this, like, oh, that's how he shuts him up.
Yep.
I was like,
why he shut him up.
Yeah.
So, like I said, man, it's just, yeah, it was just good, man. There was a lot of funny parts in that movie. Like I said, it was just a well-rounded movie, especially a movie to end the Avengers series out. Like, you know what I mean? And like Javon said, I think it was Javon said, you know, after this crappy X-Men movie shows up, this, because you know, this joint is gonna be some cut. And it's funny because the commercials and the trailers are playing it, and I'm just looking at it like this joint is some cut. Like this, it doesn't even follow the path of the Phoenix to no degree, dude. Like, where's
It's
Wolverine?
just a story.
Like,
it's just a story.
They just went up with their own story. So, and the stories, and by now Fox hasn't realized our story sucks. So I can't wait for the good X-Men movies when they wipe out this whole. Now, as far as the X-Men people, I hope they keep the cast. You know what I mean? I don't mind the cast
You
of the X-Men.
you take all the current X-Men?
Well, you know what's funny, man? When they did the Deadpool movie and those dudes were in the room,
Yes, that was funny.
and that was hilarious to me. So I don't mind that cast. Like young, halfway old, halfway young Xavier, so on and so forth. I don't think the cast is bad. That's not what kills these movies. It's the movie itself. So I'm looking forward to some great X-Men movies. I'm looking forward to some great X-Men movies now. So this Marvel thing with the end of Endgame and the end of Avengers as we know it, and this is one less movie, of course, in the Marvel rotation now, right?
Nah, man, I think they're making more Avenger films. We're just with the new Avengers, with Captain Marvel, Doctor Strange, Black Panther, Spider-Man, maybe Ant-Man.
I mean, you think so? I mean,
yeah,
you think
absolutely.
it's going to be more Avengers films?
Yeah, they pretty much said
or
that.
You think that everybody's going to do a solo thing for a couple of years?
No, I think if I'm reading what they're saying correctly, we're going to get more Avengers. It's just with another group of Avengers. Because, I mean, even in the comics, they never really stayed with the same team for long. There was always shuffling and moving back and forth between the teams.
How would you feel about a different Avengers squad?
I mean, for me, I would like it because that's consistent with the comic. And I think as long as they have, like, cool members like Captain America, Falcon, Vision, Scarlet Witch, Black Panther, Doctor Strange, Captain Marvel, Spider-Man, I'm good. And then hey, we don't have a heavy hitter. We got Ant-Man who can turn into Giant Man, and Wasp who can go on. Yeah, I mean, I think
guess,
it's
man.
just exciting.
I guess for me, these first Avenger movies were with Marvel's heavy hitters. Now, I've always been like Spider-Man's always been my favorite Marvel guy. Don't get me wrong, but he was in these movies. So even when you're saying what you're saying, it's still going to be without. Like by now, in a sense, we kind of grew up on these dudes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and when I mean grew up, I mean we were grown men, but I mean like we came up watching. These movies have been out for a minute now. We were in our early 30s when they started coming out, so we've been watching these things for a minute here, and I'm just saying that it's going to be different. To me, they might, and I'm not saying they're not going to be good movies. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying it's just going to be a different feel with these different Avengers. Like, you know what I mean? They, like in essence, they've closed the door to what? Hulk. Captain America's, because the last two Captain America movies, his first one was cool. The last two were and then now Thor, his last one was his best one yet, but
one of the best
he looks like he's right. It looks like he's done off the solo tip. So all I'm saying is these heavy hitters that we've been used to are now gone. Now we have to cycle through. Like we've got to hit another Black Panther movie. We've got to hit another Doctor Strange movie. We might get another Captain Marvel movie. Spider-Man's coming out again, so on and so forth before this next Avengers hit. So it still may be 3 years down the line, 4 years down the line before an Avengers movie, possibly. So, you know what I mean? And it may need to be that to get these Avengers out of our system, this movie. You know what I mean? Like to the point where we're geeking for another Avengers movie with the new folks. So, it'll be something, man. But like I said, if they come out with some good X-Men characters, and we finally get the X-Men we deserve as a people, as a United States of America, as a nation,
not lying.
That'll tide us over. You know what I mean? Because the X-Men, in a sense, is an Avengers movie in a sense. They all squatted up. So, like I said, we start getting some decent content here. get a young Wolverine finally in here. That's all we need is really, like I said, I don't. You guys don't like the cast that's currently there?
I like Fassbender's Magneto. I like McAvoy. I like Nicholas Holt's Beast. I'm not so sold on anybody else actually.
You know, like Jennifer Lawrence has.
I hate her. I hate her Mystique, man. It's terrible. It looks like she's acting at half speed.
Yeah, and plus she's such a big star now. She's no longer sitting in a chair for that. 6 hours of makeup to put on all blue.
Yeah,
she's not even doing it no
Yeah,
more.
she's like, just put me in a suit. Like,
Just put me in a suit. Yeah.
Here's the reason why I'm not going to be in blue makeup now. Yeah.
You said that's why she's never hardly in the blue.
Right. It's like, nah.
Oh yeah.
How can I get out of wearing this Mystique outfit?
Like, yeah, I ain't doing it.
Right. Just trash.
What about the dude who plays Nightcrawler?
I mean, he's cool, but he's not. I mean, I don't even know his name. What is it, Kit McAlpin-Smith or Cody McAlpin? Anyway, he's not doing anything that anybody else couldn't do.
We might finally get a decent Remy LeBeau.
We may actually get a Storm that looks black.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that was wrong. We may get a dark skin, a Storm that doesn't look like every magazine cover that aren't put out by black people. Is that better? That's better. Yeah.
Well,
we may get a Storm with a darker skin tone.
Or we can get a white Storm, South African Storm.
You can get your girl Charlize Theron to play Storm.
A gentrified Storm.
Really? She, you know what I mean? If she was younger, they might give it to her. But like I said, man, this, like I said, that's exciting in itself. I thought this movie was fantastic. I'm glad it's making the money it's making. And like I said, I just can't wait till Disney moves on to these other projects now. I mean, like Disney makes you want to throw your money at them.
You're taking,
pretty much.
You know what I mean?
Fox makes me want to go. I pay me to watch
it. Right.
Jeff, can we pay you to watch Dark Phoenix?
I'm gonna watch it because I want to see Mystique die.
You gonna watch Dark Phoenix?
Oh, I am actually.
Really?
I want to see how they can actually manage to put together an X-Men movie without Mystique the whole time.
She's in it, right? Even though she's not blue.
Nah, man. The directors actually were like, yeah, we teased it, but we thought it was more important to let people figure that out in the trailer because we know nobody's going to come to see the movie. That last bit may have been me editorializing, but
a lot of you editorializing.
No, I mean no, but they really said that we teased that or we revealed it in the trailer so people would know they were real high stakes. Like there may not be another X-Men movie from Fox. Yeah.
Well, there shouldn't be another X-Men movie, right?
Oh gosh, no. That's it. I think New Mutants is still hovering in limbo.
Disney has it, right?
Yeah, they do. I'm joking around. I'm messing around.
That's not really funny, Jeff. You know what I mean?
Your emotions are getting.
Whoa. I'm like, hold on.
I was promised no more Fox X-Men films.
Right, I gotta see another crappy round of trailers from another X-Men movie.
No, sir, you're all good.
You know what I mean? You're like I every time the last one comes on TV with the I can't even think of the band's name now. He was in the
Apocalypse.
Yes. Every time that joint is on TV now, I click from it. And
the funny thing is, I've never watched that movie, and I have no interest in doing it.
That movie was
But that's
bad,
what I'm saying.
Man.
So he's talking about another movie coming along, and I'm like, hold on, man, you starting to make me, you starting to make me feel some type of way.
I was in a good place. Now you messing me up. I'm sorry.
Right, don't go in that place. You were taking me not to a good place.
All right, well, let me see if I can take you to another good place. The land of Westeros. We had the Game of Thrones midway episode last night, and we had everybody doing their thing. The White Walkers are coming, and if you had Batman's night goggles, you were able to see everything perfectly. But if you were like me and you had all the lights off in the basement, you still didn't see a whole lot of stuff. I saw Dany flying around on her dragon, not knowing where the heck to go. And yeah, it was an interesting episode. I got the sense of what it would be like to have White Walkers coming in and not being able to see them. But man, there are some tactics that were questionable in this big battle. But before I go into all of that, let's see what you guys thought about it. Javon, what was your take on the episode, man?
It was dark, that's for sure. Um, I had to watch, even though I'm still 2 seasons behind, so I'm really out of order. There's a lot there's so many intricacies because there were deaths that I didn't understand why they were so important. Not yet. Um, but I will say this. What's the little girl? God, what, Arya?
Ara?
Arya? Yeah, she needs to be an honorary Avenger or a member of any faction that's trying to overthrow an evil and presence. Because she went in. She goes in, man. They waste no time killing them. Okay, and what? Now what? Between that, God, what's my man that died trying to saving the queen?
Theon.
Yeah, I kind of did see that coming, but I was like, nah, because he's been down. He was a down. It was just tough to see him go, you know.
Dude, Javon, there was nothing that could have happened to him on that episode that something
Yeah,
worse hadn't already happened to him.
I know. Yeah, it was just tough. That was a tough one to
Little
see.
Theon went to the floor. That was the end of Theon.
Yeah, yeah. It was still tough though, you know, because dude's been down from what I've
True.
seen. I'm gonna leave it there because I still got some catching up to do. So there's some things I really didn't. It didn't job. It didn't connect with me, but I'm still working my way through it.
All right, Chase, what do you think?
Okay. As everybody did from the memes, we couldn't see the first 45 minutes. It was, I mean, but it was like really cool when you saw the Dothrakis. They're like, oh man, Melisandre came through clutch, like their swords up. They're gonna be great. Then you just see one by one them going out. That was actually really scary, but really cool because like, oh crap, the Night King got a whole bunch of new Night Walkers, and they're all of Dany's great army. Okay, this is gonna be interesting. So it's like you can just see the hope, like all of them. It's hope, just like that was supposed to be like our big rally, and they're all dead. So it was just like really cool. It's like seeing how like, oh man, like how do we get through this? How do we survive the night? And just like I mean, once you got a little more light in there, you could see kind of make up who your characters were. It was better. I mean, I understand it was like out of a 90-minute episode, the battle was 60 minutes. I mean, it seemed like it was kind of Helm's Deep level, but without Helm's Deep budget from Lord of the Rings, Two Towers, because it's like some of that was cheating because they had the budget issues, like the dragons flying around, like that was kind of cheap. They kind of had to shortcut that to make it. I mean, budget wise for HBO, but all in all, you were once you saw something, you're like, because before we even started the episode, we were just like, all right, how many of the major characters that we have seen from season 1 to 3 are gonna not make it here? Like the guys we've actually kind of, guys and girls we've grown up with on the show, and there was only one of them that actually was it two of them that died. I was actually very surprised by it. I mean, how they died was both of them was very. I mean, for their storyline was really noble and heroic, especially like Theon, who there was a point everybody wanted to see that. Everybody wanted to see that dude dead, and then kind of that after Ramsay, just like I'm a little uncomfortable. I mean, he deserves some of this, but it's getting uncomfortable. And to see his progression from that point on, it's like, yeah, good job, Ramsay. I wish I could have Bran's job. I'm gonna sit here, just go flying as a raven. Y'all tell me when this thing's done.
Or you could also go flying on your dragon.
I mean, hey, what's her name? Dany did a great job lighting the trench after she figured out that she needed to light the trench. And also, she did a great job of landing her dragon on the ground when there's no one except the Night King that can get you in the air. But but all in all, I mean, I like the episode, but it wasn't like, to me, if this episode could have been next week and it wasn't the same week as Avengers, I probably would have liked it more. because Avengers, I saw everything that I wanted to see. This one, it was too dark. I mean, I heard that they tried to be authentic, but it's like we are trying to do this for TV, not be authentic. I don't need to see battles in the dark. That's not what I want to see. I want to see, I mean, like the only one where it was like terrifying was like when the Dothrakis just died, and then kind of the first onslaught of the horde. But then after that, it's like, hey, I kind of need to make out who the characters that I care about are. I mean, it was good, but it wasn't. I mean, it was probably watered down a lot because of Avengers to me.
Chief, what do you think about it?
This episode was amazing. And the funny thing, it was dark. Don't get me wrong. It's dark as hell. And I've watched it. I went over and I watched it 4 times today. Yeah, it's dark, and I think you miss a lot of things in the dark, but it's not even a bad thing. Only thing I thought would be different about this episode is I thought they would have stretched out the Nightwalkers thing for 2 episodes. I guess for them being such a focal point of the story for so long, and we finished them off in an episode, albeit a longer episode. Don't get me wrong, it was a longer episode. I just thought I didn't know it was going to end this quickly. We lost some people last night. Mostly for foolish reasons. You know what I mean? Because I'm gonna be honest with you. If I'm in the middle of a fight and you ain't fighting, I don't know if I'm gonna turn to you and be like, "Hey, come on, man, get it together," and stare at you in the middle of that fight. I don't think I have the time. There's a lot of walkers around. They were kicking ass at that point.
I think at that point they just need to kind of, hey, I need every sword from a living person swinging. It's like, right. I can give you a 2-second momentary get up and do it. Yeah.
I don't know why they just didn't go into hallways and crowd the hallways with people and then just build the bodies up like that. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, at a point, you can't fit but so many walkers in the hallway. And let them come in, build them all in the hallways. When they're out in the open like that, the walkers have the advantage. But when you confine them into a small space, when they've got to come through a small space in order to get to you, and that's not like they're tactical. But the dragon, the dragons was good because there were so many things that happened last night. The witch showing up. An interesting thing happened where Sansa and Tyrion talked about getting together. And her reason, she said that it wouldn't work with Tyrion was that his loyalty to Daenerys.
Yeah.
So then old girl made the point that if Daenerys hadn't been there, they'd all be dead by now. But her reasoning wasn't, she wasn't interested in them. Her reasoning was just like, yo, you follow another queen. So that was an interesting point because at the end of this, the House of Lannister and me last name Snow. What's the last name of these guys? Stark. The House of Lannister and Stark could be combined. You know what I mean? Because he did ask the question, like when she was like, "I can't be with you." He was like, "Why?" You know what I mean? And I'm gonna be honest with you. I've had, in my lifetime, I've had women ask me, "Why can't I be with you?" And I never answered why because you know what I mean? Like I didn't like, yo, we're not gonna be together, and you're not gonna want to know my answer. But he was interested in knowing why. So there is an attraction there that we probably weren't aware of till just then. So that is an interesting thing that might develop. And as far as Arya, does Arya have superpowers? And no, listen, hold on. The reason why I'm going to ask this is this: the general, the White Walker generals, they were standing there watching him about to kill Bran, right?
Mhm.
And then you saw like the Bama's hair, like the hair blew up, because everybody's thinking Arya came from a tree, but she didn't come from no tree. She wasn't up in no tree. She ran past that dude.
She didn't jump down?
Dude, no. When you watch that scene again, they're all looking at dude about to kill Bran, and all of a sudden you see the dude's hair blow up in the wind, like something ran past him.
Oh man.
I'm talking about
So it's coming from behind Bran's side?
Well, you remember the general stopped.
Like, were
the
all
Night
of
King
them
went on.
Okay. Were all of them Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Because they stopped right where he had killed Theon.
Mm-hmm.
So they were all standing there. The Night King did the last 25 steps to Bran by himself.
Mm-hmm.
They were watching. So as the scene continues, you see the side view of his face, and you see a wisp of his hair come up. It just blows up for no reason, like a wind came and took it. And in the next scene, you see old girl flying through the air. So I'm imagining she ran past him. That's what made his hair blow up.
Girl is many talented.
So she ran past him, jumped in the air. You know, she did her little trickery thing with the thing, with the knife thing, which was a move that was, that she's been using as, a beautiful move. I'm gonna learn it myself. So that was one thing. Old boy who was about to turn to stone. I don't know why I don't remember names. I don't remember names and dates well, but he finally got his issue. Yeah, he was fighting next to Daenerys, and then he died.
Sure.
Yeah, at the end there. I was glad Theon died, and let me just say this, because everybody's like, "Oh, Theon," but Theon was a dirty bastard.
Yeah.
And let's just get that out the way. He set he set his family up. He got what he had coming. He let his sister get taken. He was a coward, and just because he manned up at the end of everything, doesn't really, you know what I mean? Like, if a dude came through and killed your family, and then at the end when people tried to kill you, he was like, "No, I'm with him." That doesn't count. Like, Like, you murdered my mother. I'm not gonna forgive you. So Theon, I was glad. I don't understand, after skillfully fighting off the walkers, what that last charge was about. Did you see how weak that charge was towards the Night King? He was just yelling, and he ran the last 30 yards with the stick in front of him, like he was going. And I was like, "Yo, is that it? That's what you're not even gonna come in with no skill or nothing?"
He was exhausted, man. He was just putting in that lazy.
Yeah, well, yeah. Hey, like Brand said, you're a good man, Theon. Go die. I mean, that's basically what he was saying. Like, he tried to hype him. You're a good man. Go on, do what you need to do, good guy. So that was good. What else happened in this episode, man? The Red Witch.
Right.
I guess.
What would they have done if she wasn't showing up?
Die.
Huh?
I mean, she's pretty much the MVP of the night, because they would have got wiped out so much earlier if she wasn't around.
Where was
she set the fire, and then she had the vision that allowed Arya. She knew Arya Stark was going to kill the Night King.
Right.
You know what I mean? She was like, and Blue Eyes. And once she said that, I guess Arya got the point, like, oh shoot, it's going to be me. So she went running off or whatever. But yeah. So I mean, what made her commit suicide though? I don't understand that at the end. Like, she was like, "I'm gonna be dead by dawn," and I'm thinking to myself, well, why'd you kill yourself? You
Reasons,
know,
man,
like what
reasons.
you said reasons?
Yeah, I have no idea.
The
I
reasons
guess
that
she
we're
didn't
here?
feel like taking a road trip to King's Landing and help.
No, I don't think she had to take the road trip. Shit, she was where she come from anyways.
Well,
Nobody
her
invited her
Uber
there.
dropped her off at Winterfell, and it was like, okay, this is
Mm,
stop on the right, lady.
right. So I was kind of wondering, like, where she, you know, like, where did you come from, Shorty? Like, all right, now that you showed up, like, you just after the night you made it through that night, and then got tired of life. Man, I would have had a new zest for life. I'd have been like, well, let me know when you clear out the Lannisters so I can vacation and you know over there because it's always sunny there.
Right.
Let's see what else. What else was good? Is the other dragon dead?
I don't know. I couldn't see. I just
Right.
didn't
So he,
understand why Dany decided to go on the ground with her dragon. Like, I didn't
dude,
understand that, man.
I did not follow that either, and I don't know what happened to the snow dragon. Like, did
The
it just
Snow
lay there and
Dragon got
then
killed when the Night King got killed.
No, not the snow dragon. I didn't mean that. The dead dragon. I meant the dragon that landed in the snow with Starks.
Oh, dude, I don't know.
Remember, because he fell off of it. It was
Yeah.
fighting. It was fighting the dead dragon. They landed. Starks flew off of it, and then you never saw the dragon again. So that episode, I'm like, yo, is the other dragon alive still, or what? Like,
Did
do they only
Dany
have one
lose the
dragon now?
dragon that landed on the ground?
No, because at the end it came and it covered her up.
Oh,
She
that
was
was the
crying
same
over
one.
old boy.
Okay.
I'm assuming that's the same one.
Yeah, dude. We need some colors like the Ninja Turtles. She needs to put some headbands on them ASAP.
Yeah, like I said, it was a dark episode for sure. It was a dark episode for sure, man. It was funny how everybody started. He was like, how everybody started coming out like nobody thought about that in the crypts though.
But see, why would
Like,
they have thought that? See, I would have figured, okay, if his troops kill people, those people become the dead that he can rise. But that was like a whole different wrinkle where, hey, anybody that's dead, I can bring him back.
and he did.
Yes, sir. I'm just like, why hasn't
And
he
he
been
did.
bringing back other dragons if that was the case?
Oh, little Shorty went out like a gangster, didn't she?
Oh, Liana, she was a beast.
Yeah.
She's been a gangster
That
the
giant.
whole show.
Yeah, she has, man. That giant picked her up, and you could hear her body crack.
Right.
And she cracked her like a crab shell, and she still stuck him in the eye. Yeah.
That was pretty.
You know, so it was, like I said, man, this was whatever happened to the dude. My eyes are always blue, dude. I'm assuming he made it out because I don't remember seeing him at the end of the episode.
Hound? Oh, Tormund. Yeah, he was alive. Yeah, that was the thing. It was like we needed to see who was. I figured if we weren't getting close-ups on those people we really cared about getting killed, they're still alive.
Okay. So
They
I mean,
made
it
a
was a
big
classic
point to
episode,
show
man.
Ed died. Huh?
I said it was a classic episode, man. It was a good episode. It was one of the best that I thought that. I mean, you couldn't see nothing to a degree, but the scope of the episode and finally getting like these next three episodes left.
Yep.
I guess they're going to be devoted to seeing how many people are left to fight the Lannister army.
Yeah. I assume that's why they left so many of the heavy hitters still alive, because I guess some of them have to get killed fighting Cersei's group.
So I'm trying to figure out how much of that army is left, though, man. It can't be that many of them.
Oh, dude, she only needs a dragon.
Nah, man, they got those damn dragon spears. Remember they went down in the basement and got those
She saw one take out her dragon and she roasted the rest of them.
Well,
That shouldn't be
see,
an issue.
man.
Not
see,
for
but
the breaker of chains, man.
You know, so and then I'm curious to see how her and this Jon Snow joint is going to work out.
Yeah,
you don't think it's going to work out well?
nah, man. You know, she's always been about that power, and knowing that she
he don't
doesn't
want it,
have,
dude.
huh?
He doesn't want the power though.
Well, you know, if it works best for the agenda. I think Danny's gonna go crazy and start to go off on people, start trying to burn people because they're not going along with her, and then somebody's gonna have to kill her.
Really?
Yeah, that's like a
Huh.
popular theory going around.
So he made Danny the Mad Queen.
Yeah, I mean, dude, that whole deal with the Tarly was just crazy. She did not need to kill them. Now,
That's somebody
granted,
who's not
You talking about?
but that's somebody who's not a leader. It's like they just like, hey, everybody who's rode up against me in war has either surrendered or joined my army. So if you don't, like, I mean, it did make sense because it's like, hey, this dude has a whole another army that if you get him to think about it for a week, he might actually join the cause. Is Tyrion told him, like, why the hell would you do that? Like, we could have given him a couple minutes. He'd have thought better about it. He knows we're going to win this war, and we take to his army and then go back to King's Landing. But she's an idiot. I mean, she's done that every time. She's an idiot. It's like, hey, I know straight ahead, no strategy. And then when someone gives me a strategy, I'll tell them to go piss off. Like,
yeah, I have no time for people that want to hate on Arya and going like, "Oh, how's she gonna be the Night King?" I'm like, get out of here, man. Arya is a gangster.
Arya's an assassin.
Dude, she killed off the whole crew that killed Rob. So anybody that did that has 1,000,000 bonus points in my book. And she trained to do all this stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, she's a girl, and oh, she's a woman. She can't do that. I'm like, get out of here.
Like, nobody was saying that when she was killing all the dudes. Like, again, she's a trained. How are you gonna say a trained assassin can't kill the one dude who's actually thinking he can slow walk to win the war?
Yeah, dude. Especially with his slow walk, he was going in the victory lap. I've got this thing. I'm cruising. I'm killing the clock because I've got it wrapped up. They can get lost. Arya is the woman. She got the job done, and
she works,
baby. Yeah. So that's my take on that. So right now, what do you guys want to see in the rest of Game of Thrones this
season? I'm wondering, like, how much of a big battle you really got for King's Landing. I mean, like, do you want to see Jaime put the sword through his sister,
Yes.
Or has it got to be Dany, taking her throne? Does Jon say, hey, I'll abdicate for Dany to win the throne, and then everybody say, nah, we're not cool with that. We'll take you as the leader. It's like, since you are a Targaryen, we got to follow one. We might as well follow the one who's actually started us to kill the Night King, rallied everybody else to try and help us beat the Night King, and then said, yeah, we'll go rally and beat Cersei. So I want to see how that transition of power works out, and how and see who's sticking around after the big battle in probably episode 9. I mean, I guess, episode 6 since. But then when we initially thought the season was going to break down, I thought it was going to be the White Walker battle was going to be the big battle. But I'm now seeing how big the battle for King's Landing could be. Because the battle in, what was it, Blackwater Bay? Was that the one Tyrion did, Jeff?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Like, if they can expand on that, that'll be a good one. So, I mean, and this time they'll have dragons, so that'll be fun.
Javon, what do you want to see as this thing draws to a close?
I don't want a neat little bow. I don't want. This is something I think a lot of shows do when and that's. But here's the thing about Game of Thrones: they never gave you what you wanted. At least what I'm seeing so far, it never given you what you wanted, what you thought would be okay. Don't kill this character. We love them. Nah, this ain't their MO. I just don't want them to fall into those traps of we gotta wrap this up with a neat little bow, give the people exactly what they want, the outcome they're expecting. Throw us for a loop, but make it good. Just make it good. Keep doing what you're doing. Just don't give us cutesy poo or try to, like I said, put a little bow on it.
Javon, have you seen Harry Potter, like Deathly Hallows?
I saw that one. I barely remember. I only saw it once.
Okay, well, it's just like that one was like everything wrapped up, but it was like it wrapped up, but it was like some of the characters you had grown up with in the series died, like real characters. It's like one of the twins dies. It's like, I think in this series, it's like if they wrap it up so it's like, all right, we know where some of these people are going to be in like 5 years, but some of these people are dead. I think that would be a decent ending for it.
Because you know somebody gonna catch the bad one. Everybody's not gonna make it to the finish line. You know that. But don't make it's like don't make it the obvious choices, or don't make it predictable. Just throw us for a loop. No matter what you do, go out with a bang. Go out on your terms. That's one thing I don't like about shows when they do end, especially immensely popular shows. When they end, they kind of sometimes shows tend to, like I always say, buckle under the weight of the expectations of fans or what they want to see, what the fans want to see. Screw that. Do the Soprano thing. Hey, look, however you want to interpret it, that's how you interpret it. But this is how we're ending it.
Okay. Would you think they would have the stones to kill off Danny at the end? No, Danny. Let's make it Danny and John.
Danny and John. Honestly, I think some people would see that, but others would. Some people would see that coming, others would not.
Yeah, I could actually see that happening.
Right, I can see it happening, but others would not, and others would really be pissed off. I mean, but if they went in that direction, I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be mad because hey, that's the loot. Hey, this is the breaks. This is war, man. Everybody gonna make it to the finish line. I wouldn't be upset about that.
All right, Chief. How about you?
What do I want to see happen?
Mm-hmm.
The last episodes, man. Well, this battle with Cersei, man. Cersei has had the Game of Thrones period. Not only Cersei, but Cersei is killed epically, and Game of Thrones is killed epically. I mean, there's been so many killings that you never saw coming, or even the way people got killed, you didn't expect. And I'm hoping that her death is one of those ones that you're like, because even on a low scale where Jamie gave poison for the old lady to drink, and she was sitting there admitting to all the things she had done to the Lannister. You know what I mean? Like, that was a hell of a scene. So I'm hoping that her death is if she does die, because we don't know if she does die. I hope it's not just a simple death. In a sense, I'm hoping it's better than the Night King's death. I'd like to see, now I'm kind of interested in seeing Tyrion and the Sansa get together along with Jon and old girl. Because I don't think Jon he doesn't want the throne, I don't think. I mean, he doesn't seem to want power at all. That's not his thing. So, I'd like to see that happen. And I'd like to see the other Grey. I guess he's a Greyjoy too. I'd like to see the Greyjoy who's got the ships in service of. I'd like to see him get his issue. I'm curious to see if that dire wolf survived. I mean, I saw him running out there with the dead, and I was like, why is that wolf?
If we didn't see the close-up, he's still alive.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just like, why is that wolf out there running with, like, that wolf should be in the crypt. But anyway, I'm curious to see. This. The Arya scenes have been epic. She has some of the greatest kills on this show. So I'm still looking forward to the rest of her killing. It's funny when you say you're looking forward to somebody killing somebody. So yeah, I'm down for all that. I'm just, I'm hoping for. Somebody said they want to see a Sopranos ending. I can't. I don't want to see another Sopranos. Oh my God, please no. That Sopranos ending still haunts me to this day. Like, did they kill him? Did they not? Like, after 6, 7, 8 years of watching the show and then not know what happened, I think that's just petty. That's petty as hell. You know what I mean? Like, you think you as a director or a writer, and you say, yeah, let's do this. That's not cute. That's not cute, man. Let the fans know what happened. You know what I mean? So, I mean, we're all assuming he got popped. You know what I mean? That's been the
You know,
consensus.
it's funny, Chief, because I go back at first when I first saw it, I hated it. Right, I felt the same way. But as time passed, and I go back and I watch that season, and I get to that last scene in that diner, man. It's so open ended. It's like, you know what? Fine, okay. I can assume that he got popped, or I can assume they, the mozzarella sticks came out. You know, I for some reason I kind of enjoyed that. I really did. I don't know
Man,
why.
I think he's dead.
Yeah, yeah. It's so open ended. He might be. I enjoyed that for some reason. I really did. Now going back,
Well,
I really did.
if Game of Thrones ends like that, I'm gonna be upset. You're gonna hear
Oh,
me.
you and
Hear me
millions and
say,
millions of others. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
you can't get a people two of those
Like
HBO.
you see Cersei standing there, and then Arya like running through the air, like jumping through the air, and then it ends.
You hear "Don't Stop Believing" cue up and it goes black.
Right.
After that. Yeah, nah.
Right. I'm gonna be hot, dude. I'm gonna be hot. I'm like, that's it. What happened? Nope. So those are my things, man. I'd like to see the dragon survive too. If I know one of them's alive, I'd like to see. I hope both of them are still there. So, and Grey Worm. I hope Grey Worm continues to live. Him and her old girl end up on a beach somewhere. And I know that, all these good endings I've got are, none of them are probably possible. It is Game of Thrones. They'll probably all end up dying or something. But, it is what it is. I can accept that too. No Soprano ending.
That's the important thing.
Yes, sir.
All right, fellas. Well, almost done here. Do y'all have any dummies for the week? They just started.
Oh wow, do we?
What you got?
Yeah.
We're gonna start out in the Bay Area. I don't know. I can't say that that John Lynch is a dummy for taking Joey Bosa because the decision is football related only. But Joey Bosa, not Joey. What's his brother's name? Nick Bosa.
Nick
Bosa. Yeah. Look, I know you got a moonwalk because you're now going to play in San Francisco. This is a pretty diverse area of the country where opinions will differentiate from those of your Northern Ohio like-minded folks there. But I love the way.
What you mean? San Francisco's gay. It's a gay area.
Yeah, it's a gay area. But aside from that, it's also a black area too. This is the same guy you're an ardent Trump supporter. We get it. We know. You've gone on the internets and you voiced your opinions and you said some things. But you've also said some derogatory things. And this is the thing about football. I don't care where you're playing football, you're gonna run into some black faces. You're playing football, American football, and you're gonna run into some black faces. And the fact that no one's called him out, the fact that no one's targeted him, anything to that degree.
Oh, wait.
Okay.
I have to stop you.
Okay.
Because as a 49ers fan, I've been well aware of this controversy even before we dropped it. And people have been all over the Niners radio station. It's been a big topic, and people have been like, well, what's up with this dude's tweets? What's up with him liking stuff? And so it's been a huge, huge topic, even before he was announced as the pick of the Niners. And he went on let me delete everything off my social media that is not football related.
Well, I'm talking about on the field. I'm talking about why no opponent has said, you know what, kneecap him.
No, they're not gonna. I mean, because they know other people say that. But it's like the fact is like, hey, why did you delete it? Because my agent told me to.
Hey, dude, it's at least smarter than most of these dudes who leave stuff up. I mean,
I'm not. Yeah. Aside from Twitter, aside from backtracking, I'm talking about on the field. knowing that this SOB, whatever you want to call him, said X, Y, Z and shares these opinions, not just because he's a Trump supporter, because he's a dickhead racist. Why has nobody decided, you know what, we're going to clothesline him?
Because,
somebody says that. You hit him low, I'm going to hit him high.
Somebody probably says that in a game a lot of times. Like, they probably hear some stuff like that during games. It's like, it isn't, sadly, it might not be new to them. It's like, somebody's going to break out the N-word and just like.
Why no old lineman hasn't decided roll his knee? Roll his knee. Screw that guy. I get it. You're protecting guys' livelihood. He's got a right to make a living, et cetera, et cetera. But, you're backtracking now. You're not going to change your stripes. You're not going to become a different human being. You're still who you are. You're still who you are. I just hope that you're on the field. And that's the thing about it. The on-the-field production takes away from any of those things. People tend to have a short-term memory when it comes to that. I just hope that for the sake of his teammates, the sake of the people who are going to interact with this guy, to have the most interactions with this guy, you recognize who and what he is and give him, if he has the opportunity to change himself for the better, of course. But typically what you see is what you get with folks like that. And whatever surface changes they're making, that's just that. It's on the surface. What lies beneath, you've seen it. And look, he's got the right to be a young man, and he said some misguided things, but typically those attitudes are ingrained and instilled, and they don't leave. They don't leave the person. You are kind of who you are. You've been formed. And I don't think any of that's going to change. I just love the way you're backtracking now and trying to pretend like I'm a nice guy. I never meant those things. I was young and I was dumb. Dude, that was like 6 months ago.
But the funny thing about it is, like, if he was a different kind of person from a different family, they would have said, "Oh, he's got some maturity issues. He's trying to make amends, he's a kid, Because like I watched like probably like 2 out of the 3. I probably watched 3 days of the draft, and some of the stuff they were saying was like the dude's like who basically was defending his mom, like. I mean, they showed the video. They didn't have to show the video, but they made sure you saw the video. It's like, guy was defending his mom who was getting beat up. Like, but you want to show, hey, oh, he hit a woman. He was defending his mom. Like, it was just like all the other stuff you made sure it was front page news on them guys. But that dude, I mean, I had to wait till after he was drafted to hear about this dude's tweets. I'm like, wait up, like this dude should have had like. He should have had the awkward interview as soon as he got off the stage. So what about those tweets? It was just like, y'all just going to let that slide because he comes from that family. Like, we're not going to call him a dickhead racist.
Trust me, it was not like that at all.
No. When he got to San Francisco, they got on him.
No. Even the thought of us drafting him, people were like, should we do this with this guy? Knowing his social media, his stance on things?
Granted, all that, he's still with number 2 with a bullet. I mean, nothing changed in that regard. There wasn't even a hesitation on the part of the Niners organization. They're taking this guy, but yet Colin Kaepernick can't get a job. It's another thing too. The NFL with the draft, I get it. If you put football, anything related to football on primetime, people are going to watch. But enough is enough. There were so many puff pieces. There was so much of information about guys. I don't care. Just draft them. Take them in the 6th round. Just take them. I don't care. At this stage, I felt like, look, if you're watching the NFL draft on Saturday afternoon, you really need to reevaluate some things. Go outside.
Oh, wait, the Rich was really on Saturday afternoon?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, it was.
Okay,
it was.
Wait, so it was on Thursday and Friday. It was Thursday and Friday night and Saturday afternoon?
And Saturday afternoon. Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Never mind. Guess I only did 2 nights of draft.
I could stomach up to the number 10, and I was like, all right, enough.
And there was nothing on a Friday night that was just easy. Like, all right, when's this Wizards game? Warriors game coming on? All right, 9 o'clock. All right, I'll wait for that.
All right, so Sheik, you got any?
I don't think so. I mean, he thinks Nick Bosa. Imagine having Gettleman as your goddamn GM. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The dummy of the week, like I said, if we're gonna give it over, it's the Giants organization for me. If we were talking sports, did anybody expect Daniel Jones? Anybody?
No.
Bueller? Anybody Bueller?
Not at all. And that was a first round pick, right?
Number 6, my friend, with Josh Allen on the board. I know Jeff was just laughing his ass off. I could hear the laughter from where I was. Because I know he was like, yeah, about that pick. So basically we're in purgatory for the next 3 years at least.
What did they see?
And these fools,
they're afraid that Eli is going to be upset. So they wanted to get a pick that wouldn't scare Eli of someone who's going to take his job for the next 2 years.
That was exactly.
Well, this is the problem I have with that, man. The GM and the coach, when they bring in a new quarterback, they're tied to that quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
The way that quarterback goes usually is the way
that
you
GM goes. Yep.
So if you pick a quarterback and he doesn't turn out to be crap and the organization is still garbage 3 or 4 years later, guess what? You're out of there. Now, I don't know if Daniel Jones is going to be good. You know what I'm saying? I hope
Jones doesn't know
he turns out right. I hope he turns out to be the next coming of Joe Montana or something. But at number 6, dude, we needed pass rushers, and they were on the board. There was
a lot on the board that they could have took ahead of.
Now y'all got me drinking late night.
Yeah, right.
Put the Cavassier down, Chief.
This ain't a Cavassier night. This is when you want to drink to get drunk, man. This is a Paul Masson.
It's Easy Jesus. It's some of that Easy Jesus night. Yeah.
That irk and jerk, baby. I'm not drinking for the taste.
Oh man.
You know what I mean? I'm not drinking for the taste. I need my drink. My liquor to come in a plastic bottle.
Yes, sir.
All right, Jace, what do you got, man?
I'm gonna piggyback on for all of us who sat there for 3 days. I mean, like even 2 days, really looking at this draft. It's like I'm really hoping my team's gonna get better. And then you see by round 6, it's just like, no, it's not gonna get better. It's like, yeah, we might have got. I mean, us Denver Broncos, we might have got a quarterback, but then it's like John Elway has no, actual barometer for picking quarterbacks who are not him. So once again, you're left in that limbo, like, yeah, we're going to try and be good, but it's probably not going to happen. And it's probably because, we keep paying our money to the NFL, to watching the shows, just for the hope of our team getting better. So I'm going to take this, the dummies of the week are us NFL fans for these mediocre franchises. They're going to stick there for at least 3 more years, like at least the Miami Dolphins. So that's my current dummy of the week. But it's still early week.
All right, mine is real simple and easy. All those really cool people, the cool people who went to the Avengers Endgame screening with DC comic book t-shirts, like a Batman or Superman shirt. Come on, man. Don't stand out that way. Don't be that guy. And my other dummy of the week is everybody who is in, I've seen it, I can say whatever I want to about the movie now. Like, one of my cousins actually posted, oh, I just finished seeing Endgame. Rest in peace, Tony Stark and Natasha Black Widow. I'm like, come on, dude.
Oh, dude, he got a 30-day mute on that. I'm like, nah, dude.
Yeah, me too. I'm blocking it too. I'm like, nah, dude.
Like, that was a dick move. It was like,
such a dick move. It's like dick move, Banner.
Like, at least you wait a week to do that. But it's like, I'm going to just do it on the weekend. Like, nah.
I just want to
Did he
spoil
post
it. He was like, I
saw
spoiled it because other people spoiled something for me. I'm like, really?
Did he post that before you saw it?
Dude,
we'd already seen it twice, but it was like Saturday. It was like Saturday during the day. If you had to screen up, it would have been like Saturday 12 o'clock. It was like, really?
It was.
That's what I'm saying. But you had already seen it.
Yes.
Okay.
It's just a
Well,
GP, man.
I was talking to somebody, and they said that in Japan, some dude walked out of the theater and yelled the spoiler.
Yeah.
And got
He
beat
got
down
beat
for it.
up.
He got the whip he deserved.
Yep.
He got the skin beat off of him for that.
Exactly.
And he should have.
And it's like, and it was funny. They're like, "Oh, these Avengers fans are so crazy." I'm like, no, it's like if you spoil, you did that with the specific interest to kill somebody else's joy. And everybody, some people's lives, it's like they need that little bit of joy. That's what's gonna make that. And if you just do it to be spiteful little bitch, oh hell no, you deserve to get your ass whooped.
Hey, not for nothing, you jerk off. I just paid $30 to see this in whatever BS
IMAX
recliner
3D.
suite, IMAX 3D, and you come out the theater and you tell me that, man. Yeah, Lord help you.
I mean, it was funny. Like some dude did that at Awesome Con. He literally was on the phone, just like telling everything. I'm just like, I'm glad I saw this because I might have thrown the phone. Like, oh shucks, I'm sorry. I don't want to hear what the spoilers are, man.
Hit him with a boot.
It's like, I mean, they should just had a comic like a security guard. Like, if you spoil ingoing spoilers, you will be removed and your money will not be refunded. Get out.
Absolutely. All right, fellas. Well, we got to get this thing moving. We got a lot more stuff to talk about. In our next show, I want to go more in detail about John Singleton and his influence in cinema. But I figured that was way too much to talk about on this show. But we'll definitely bring that up on next go. So thank y'all for rolling as always. Thank y'all out there for listening. This episode of Lyle's Movie Files has been filed.